In a shocking breach of protocol, recent revelations have surfaced regarding discussions among senior Trump administration officials about military operations in Yemen. The details emerged from a Signal chat that inadvertently included The Atlantic's editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, leading to significant scrutiny from Congress and the public alike. The incident has raised serious questions about the handling of sensitive information, with officials asserting that no classified material was shared despite the gravity of the discussions. On March 25, 2025, during a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were questioned about the inclusion of a journalist in a chat where plans for military strikes were discussed. Gabbard characterized the addition of Goldberg as a mistake, while both she and Ratcliffe maintained that the messages exchanged in the group did not contain classified information. There was no classified material that was shared in that Signal group, Gabbard stated, attempting to downplay the severity of the leaked communications. However, the messages shared in the chat indicate otherwise. As reported by The Atlantic, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth disclosed crucial operational details, including the precise timing of airstrikes and targets well before the missions were executed. This revelation has prompted bipartisan calls for accountability, with Republican Senator Roger Wicker calling for an inspector general investigation into the use of the Signal app for such discussions. Wicker, alongside Democratic Senator Jack Reed, expressed deep concern over the potential implications of such lapses in communication security. The fallout from the Signal leak has not only drawn ire from lawmakers but has also raised alarms about the safety of U.S. military personnel. Democratic Representative Raja Krishnamurti emphasized the seriousness of the situation, stating this is classified information. It's a weapons system as well as a sequence of strikes. Calls for Hegseth's resignation from various Democratic representatives further underlined the gravity of the breach. In the midst of this controversy, President Trump defended his administration, asserting that the information shared was not classified. It wasn't classified information, Trump stated, seemingly attempting to shift the narrative away from the implications of the leaks. However, the incident has ignited a broader conversation about the administration's handling of sensitive military information and the protocols surrounding national security communications. This breach comes on the heels of other significant political developments, including Trump's sweeping executive order aimed at reforming U.S. election processes. Announced just a day prior, the order mandates proof of citizenship for voter registration and stipulates that only ballots received by Election Day will be counted. Critics have raised concerns about the legality and potential ramifications of such sweeping changes, indicating that they may face substantial legal challenges. As the investigation into the Signal chat unfolds, it remains to be seen how this will impact not only the individuals involved but also the broader landscape of U.S. military operations and national security protocols. With the administration facing mounting pressure from both sides of the aisle, the implications of this breach could resonate far beyond the immediate scandal, affecting public trust in the handling of classified information and military operations. In conclusion, the unfolding events surrounding the Signal chat and Trump's controversial executive order suggest a tumultuous period ahead for the administration. As lawmakers continue to demand accountability and transparency, the ramifications of these incidents may shape the political discourse in the lead-up to the next election cycle, influencing how security protocols are established and maintained in the future. In a striking example of political drama, former President Donald Trump has publicly expressed his displeasure regarding a 6-year-old portrait of himself displayed in the Colorado state capitol. This outburst came via his social media platform Truth Social, where he criticized the artwork as distorted and claimed it was a product of the state's Democratic governor Jared Polis. However, the reality is that the painting was commissioned in 2018 by Republican State Senator Kevin Grantham and unveiled during a ceremony backed by state Republicans. Nobody likes a bad picture or painting of themselves, but the one in Colorado was purposefully distorted to a level that even I perhaps have never seen before, Trump lamented, providing no concrete evidence for his assertions. He went on to mention the artist Sarah H. Boardman, who previously created a portrait of Barack Obama that he described as wonderful, contrasting it with his own likeness, which he labeled truly the worst. Trump suggested that many Colorado residents share his sentiments, claiming they were angry about the portrait, yet he did not provide any substantiation for this assertion. In a statement released by Governor Polis' office, the governor expressed surprise at Trump's interest in the state's artwork, highlighting the Capitol's historical significance and its collection of presidential portraits. The portrait, which has hung in the Capitol for several years, has now sparked a renewed wave of discourse concerning Trump's ongoing relationship with political imagery and public perception. This incident is reminiscent of another recent controversy involving Trump's national security team, where a group chat mistakenly included a journalist who received sensitive military plans. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other officials inadvertently shared details about planned military strikes against Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen via the messaging app Signal. The inclusion of the journalist Jeffrey Goldberg led to a media firestorm and accusations of a significant breach of operational security. Hegseth later defended the content shared in the chat, asserting that the information constituted no classified details, while Trump downplayed the incident as a minor glitch. However, the specifics of the messages revealed operational timelines, weaponry, and strategies that many experts deemed sensitive enough to risk American lives if disclosed to adversaries. Democratic lawmakers swiftly condemned the administration's handling of the information, with calls for investigations into potential negligence and breaches of national security protocols. As these two events unfold, they highlight the delicate balance of public image and national security within the current political landscape. Trump's vocal critique of his artistic representation and the security breach involving military plans illustrate the complexities and consequences of communication in the modern political arena. Going forward, the scrutiny on both the artistic and national security fronts will likely intensify, raising questions about accountability and transparency in governance. As Trump continues to engage with public perception through social media, the repercussions of such incidents could shape the narrative leading into the next election cycle. In a startling revelation, recent communications among senior officials in the Trump administration have come under scrutiny, raising questions about the security and appropriateness of their discussions regarding military operations. A report published by The Atlantic has unveiled that key figures, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, shared sensitive plans for an impending airstrike against Houthi militants in Yemen through the encrypted messaging platform Signal. This incident, which inadvertently included The Atlantic's editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, has sparked a wave of concern over the handling of classified information within the Trump administration. On March 26, 2025, Hegseth faced inquiries regarding the Signal chat during a press conference where he asserted nobody was texting war plans. And that's all I have to say about that. This statement reflects a broader effort by administration officials to downplay the significance of the leaked messages. At a Senate hearing, both Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, and John Ratcliffe, CIA Director, echoed this sentiment, insisting that no classified material was exchanged in the group chat. My communications, to be clear, in the Signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful and did not include classified information, Ratcliffe stated. Despite these assurances, the implications of such revelations are profound. The disclosure of military strategies, even in a seemingly secure environment, raises alarms about the efficacy of communication protocols among high-ranking officials. President Trump himself weighed in, affirming it wasn't classified information, yet the context and security of these discussions have left many questioning the transparency and responsibility exhibited by his administration. Public sentiment appears to be shifting in response to these events. An NBC News poll conducted prior to the recent developments revealed that 52% of respondents expressed disappointment with Trump's appointees, marking a significant increase compared to similar sentiments at the onset of previous administrations. This poll, executed from March 7 to 11, indicated that concerns about personnel decisions were already prevalent among the electorate, with only 45% reporting satisfaction with Trump's selections. The results signal a growing unease about the administration's leadership, exacerbated by recent controversies. The poll results highlight a stark partisan divide. While 88% of Republican respondents expressed satisfaction with Trump's appointees, a striking 95% of Democrats voiced disappointment. This division underscores the polarized political landscape and suggests that public approval of Trump's administration may be increasingly tethered to party allegiance rather than performance alone. Notably, cabinet confirmation votes for some appointees have been contentious, with several requiring tie-breaking votes from Vice President J.D. Vance, further illustrating the challenges faced by Trump's second administration. In the wake of these developments, the fallout from the Signal chat incident may continue to shape public perception and political discourse. As investigations into the security of communications proceed, the administration's ability to navigate these challenges effectively will be critical. With national security at stake and public trust wavering, future discussions surrounding military operations and executive accountability will likely remain in sharp focus. As the Trump administration moves forward, it must confront not only the ramifications of this breach but also the broader implications it poses for governance and national security. As the United States grapples with rising inflation and economic uncertainty, the impact of President Donald Trump's administration on the nation's financial landscape is coming into sharp focus. Just 2 months into his term, Trump's economic policies have sparked a mix of optimism and concern among citizens, particularly regarding the affordability of essential goods amidst the looming threat of tariffs. In a recent opinion forum, Americans voiced their experiences and anxieties about the escalating prices of everyday items, notably groceries. Many respondents reported significant increases in the cost of living, with one individual stating grocery prices feel too high and keep getting higher. This sentiment reflects a broader trend of rising consumer prices that has made budgeting increasingly difficult for many households. For some, the situation has become dire enough to require rationing food. As one participant lamented, "I'm rationing food. I don't go out as much." Amidst these challenges, Trump's administration has promised economic relief, claiming that inflation is beginning to ease. However, consumer confidence has taken a hit as fears of an impending recession loom large. Inflation has begun to ease, but consumer confidence has fallen as conversations about an impending recession rise, noted a report on the current economic climate. This paradox highlights the complexity of the economic recovery process and the uncertainty surrounding it. The president's tariffs on critical trading partners, initially presented as a strategy to rebalance trade relationships, have added to the prevailing anxiety. Trump's upcoming tariffs, dubbed Liberation Day, are set to take effect on April 2 and are expected to target countries with significant trade imbalances with the U.S. However, mixed signals from the administration regarding the scope and severity of these tariffs have left many unsure about their potential impact. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently described these tariffs as affecting a "dirty 15" group of countries which comprise about 15% of U.S. trading volume. This ambiguity has led to fluctuations in stock markets as investors react to the ever-changing landscape of U.S. trade policy. Experts warn that increased tariffs could lead to higher prices across a broad range of consumer goods, from electronics to groceries. Depending on what tariff rates they put in place, it could be pretty massive, cautioned Kyle Hanley, an economics professor. Such price increases could further strain household budgets already stretched thin by inflationary pressures. Moreover, the implications of these tariffs extend beyond mere consumer prices. The uncertainty surrounding trade policies could deter private sector investment as businesses hesitate to commit resources in an environment fraught with unpredictability. Economic analysts have raised concerns that this pattern of uncertainty could ultimately weaken consumer spending, which is vital for U.S. economic growth. A recent survey indicated that consumer attitudes worsened more than expected, reaching their lowest levels since 2021.
further underscoring the potential for a slowdown in economic activity.
As the nation braces for the upcoming tariffs, Americans remain divided in their assessments of Trump's economic performance. Some view the administration's efforts as a necessary corrective to previous policies, while others express skepticism about the long-term viability of proposed tax cuts and budget reductions that may disproportionately impact vulnerable populations. I'm very concerned about proposed tax cuts for the wealthy, who do not need them, one respondent articulated, reflecting a broader apprehension about equity and social support during economic transitions. In light of these developments, the coming weeks will be critical as the impacts of Trump's trade policies unfold. An economic policy will likely shape not only the immediate financial landscape but also the broader trajectory of the U.S. economy in the months to come. As the nation navigates this turbulent economic terrain, the question remains, will the measures enacted by the Trump administration produce the stability and growth it promises, or will they exacerbate existing challenges? Only time will tell. In a striking revelation that has sent waves through both political and media circles, members of former President Donald Trump's national security team have been implicated in sharing sensitive military plans via the encrypted messaging app Signal. The breach, which inadvertently included Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, has raised serious questions about operational security and the handling of classified information within the Trump administration. The incident came to light following a report published by The Atlantic detailing how key figures, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, exchanged information regarding upcoming military operations against Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. The text messages reportedly contained operational details such as types of aircraft to be used and the timing of strikes, suggesting a significant lapse in protocol. 12:15 ET, F-18's launch first strike package, one message stated, indicating a level of specificity that typically demands confidentiality.
Initially, the administration downplayed the incident.
Hegseth dismissed the notion that war plans were being shared, stating nobody was texting war plans, while President Trump claimed he was unaware of the breach, later jokingly referring to it as a minor glitch. However, both Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe defended the communications, asserting that no classified information was exchanged, a position that they reiterated during a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing.
Despite these reassurances, skepticism remains high.
The National Security Council confirmed that the text chain appears to be authentic and is currently investigating how Goldberg was added to a group chat designed for high-level discussions. The presence of a journalist in such a sensitive forum has led to intense scrutiny from both sides of the political aisle, with Democratic lawmakers calling for investigations into the matter. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer characterized the situation as one of the most stunning breaches of military intelligence, emphasizing the potential danger posed to American lives. Similarly, Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, criticized the administration's stunning and dangerous carelessness regarding operational security. Republicans have not been entirely unified in their defense, with Senator Roger Wicker expressing concern and seeking a bipartisan approach to understand the implications of the breach. However, House Speaker Mike Johnson suggested that those involved should not face repercussions, arguing that they were trying to do a good job and that the operation was executed with precision. This incident has ignited ongoing debates about the use of apps like Signal for government communications. While touted for their encryption capabilities, experts caution that they are not foolproof and can expose sensitive information if misused. Signal has been used by officials across administrations, but this incident highlights the risks associated with its unclassified application for discussing military operations. As the National Security Council continues to investigate, the implications of this breach could resonate beyond immediate operational concerns. The incident raises broader questions about the accountability of national security officials and the protocols governing the communication of sensitive information. As governmental bodies assess the fallout, The incident serves as a stark reminder of the precarious balance between security and transparency in the digital age, and it remains to be seen how the Trump administration will address the vulnerabilities revealed by this episode. In a rapidly evolving landscape of global diplomacy, a new trend has emerged that is reshaping how world leaders communicate and negotiate: mobile phone diplomacy. This shift was vividly illustrated when Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky interrupted a press conference to take a call from French President Emmanuel Macron, revealing that he speaks with Macron once a day. This direct and spontaneous form of communication, often bypassing traditional diplomatic channels, has become increasingly common among key figures such as U.S. President Donald Trump, Macron, and Zelensky.
Mobile phone diplomacy is characterized by its immediacy and informality, allowing leaders to engage in discussions that are less constrained by the formalities of traditional diplomacy.
An aide to Macron described this evolution in diplomatic communication as more direct and spontaneous, facilitating quicker exchanges and more frequent contact. Notably, Macron maintains daily dialogues not only with Zelensky but also with Trump, highlighting a significant shift from previous administrations where such interactions were meticulously planned and conducted in the presence of aides. The implications of this shift are profound. As mobile communications become the preferred mode of dialogue, traditional diplomats find themselves sidelined, leading to a potential erosion of their roles as essential intermediaries in international relations.
The rise of leaders like Trump, who favors direct contact over the bureaucratic style of his predecessor Joe Biden, underscores this transformation. Former French Ambassador Michel Duclos noted, "Things have picked up pace.
There has been a change in rhythm which has provoked a change in the nature of relationships, indicating a concentration of foreign policy within the executive branch." Zelensky's initiation of mobile phone diplomacy began in earnest following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, initially engaging with leaders like Polish President Andrzej Duda to address logistical and bureaucratic issues. These communications are designed to streamline processes and respond swiftly to evolving situations on the ground. However, Duclos cautioned that a downside exists: if leaders do not promptly update their aides after such calls, these officials may be left uninformed, potentially undermining the coherence of diplomatic strategies. Despite the increasing trend towards informal communication, conventional diplomatic channels remain relevant. For instance, while Trump has shared his mobile number with Zelensky, the Ukrainian president has yet to use it.
Moreover,
Trump's recent calls with Putin were conducted through conventional means, demonstrating that while mobile phone diplomacy is on the rise, it is not the sole method of engagement. However, the informal nature of mobile diplomacy brings with it risks, particularly concerning confidentiality and the potential for manipulation.
Ian Bremmer, president of the political risk consultancy Eurasia Group, remarked that such direct contact could be advantageous if it occurs between leaders who trust each other.
Yet, given the contentious nature of Trump's relationships with various world leaders, the effectiveness of this approach is questionable. As this new form of diplomacy unfolds, it raises critical questions about the future of international relations. The reliance on mobile communication could lead to a more fragmented diplomatic landscape where informal exchanges may not always align with the broader strategic goals of nations. The ramifications of this trend are still developing, and its long-term impact on global diplomacy remains to be seen. As leaders adapt to this evolving communication paradigm, the balance of power and influence in international relations could shift dramatically, underscoring the need for careful navigation in an increasingly complex geopolitical arena.